Hey, what's going on out there, my good people? Today I want to talk about QAnon, domestic terrorism, Donald Trump. I'm getting real tired of seeing a lot of idiotic, just stupid comments online from people. I've been trying to explain to people for the last couple years how QAnon and Donald Trump, it's all a CIA operation, controlled opposition to take away our freedom, our rights, and shut down the internet. And I want you just to think about everything that's transpired since Trump has taken office. You know, Trump's not a dumb guy. He plays this role of a dumb guy. Says, a lot of stupid things that don't need to be said. And that's just the fuel into getting, you know, people worked up. It furthers the division. He'll say some really smart things, some really good things, and then he'll finish it up with something really stupid. So the logical thinkers, oh, like yeah, they hear the good aspect of it, you know the, and then at the end he'll say something stupid, and it messes with the people who are emotionally charged, and it plays on their emotions. So then you just have this pulpit between both sides. And what people need to realize is both sides don't exist. Left, right, it's all the same. It's pretty comical because half the country believes that Donald Trump took over the world. I don't even know how you believe that one person can take over the world in a system. And then you have the other half of the country that believe the Democrats are corrupt. So the country has agreed on that there's corruption. It's just not who they're supporting. Whoever the one that they're supporting is the one that's not corrupt, which is comical. They can't see the person in the corner with the stick who's just poking at both sides, getting both sides worked up so they can continue their agenda of global dominance. And you just listen to the language of what's being spoken from these people, from the media, politicians, entertainers, anybody that has a platform. They've been working on this agenda for a long time, but it's really been, evident to me for the last 15, 20 years. Um, just saying that there's a lot of people out here. Oh, Trump, he's a Christian. That man's no Christian, and Christians need to stop saying that. Um, Christians don't act how Donald Trump acts. So let's just get that out of the way real quick. I've never heard that man speak one Bible verse. I haven't seen him hold up the Bible, read anything. He just doesn't. Reads no scriptures, nothing. Um, Not a very humble person. He has a lot of characteristics that are not Christian. So we need to stop that because Donald Trump makes us look bad. As Christians, he makes us look bad. And that's the point of Donald Trump, is to tie the white man, conservatives, Christians, to somebody who looks so awful, to somebody who looks so bad, somebody who looks so uneducated and so stupid. That's the plan. You don't get that by now? That's how you're being used. They want to label you. They want to label Christians as domestic terrorism. They want to label white men as domestic terrorism. Actually, they want to label everybody as domestic terrorism. Antifa wants to be, half the side wants an Antifa to be labeled as domestic terrorism, and BLM, the other half, wants Trump supporters to be, and Christians to be labeled as domestic terrorists. And I don't know what people think is going to happen. They're just going to pick and choose on who's the domestic terrorist and not. It seems to me they want to label anybody a domestic terrorism that assembles a group and protest. So that means no BLM, you won't be protesting. No Antifa, you won't be protesting. You won't even be able to say what you want to say online. As an individual, you won't be able to get on Facebook anymore. Oh, that stupid orange man. You won't be able to say those dumb comments and act like that anymore. And that's just the truth of everything that's going on here. The only thing that's happened is internet censorship since Donald Trump has taken office. That's it. Nothing else has happened. They want to control your information. They want to keep you from speaking. They want to keep you from getting together with people. They don't want you in groups. And you can see that with, that's the point of the domestic terrorism. That's the point of having these protests. They have BLM, last year. Now this year it's the Trump supporters, both sides. And you can't see that. Both sides are acting the same, but none of them can see that they're acting the same. They just, each side calls each side hypocrites, but they're all hypocrites. They're all being played. That's the most important thing here. All of you are being played. QAnon is a disinformation, CIA controlled opposition. I walked away from that 2-3 years ago. I don't think people realize how controlled everything is. From your entertainment to your memes to what's trending, it's all created by the government. It's all created by the social engineers. It's all comes from the same people. Your education, everything comes from the same people. That's troublesome in itself, and that should worry you. You shouldn't scoffle that off. No way. And our intellectual level has really depreciated through the years. I want to try so hard to tell people online what's going on when I see them asking questions, because some of these people, they are educated and they are smart people and they're not dumb and they are good people. And that's the sad part about it is that a lot of good people, most people are good hearted, are getting caught up into all this. The hatefulness from both sides. Want to see people arrested, want to see people get shot. Oh, that's what they deserve. It doesn't matter what side you're on. You're all hateful. You're all nasty. Where you're calling things like this on, you want people to be arrested. You want to see people go through hard things. That's what you want to see. That's not healthy. That's not a good person. That's evil. When you're cheering on evil, you're evil. And that's the point of all this. It almost reminds me of, snitch on your neighbors. That's what they did in the Nazi Germany. See something, say something. And that's all anybody does on social media anymore. I'm going to expose you. That's all last year was during the BLM movement. Trying to find out who was racist and who wasn't racist. If you were racist, I'm going to call your place of employment. Huh? I'm going to send people to your house. We're going to expose you. We're going to... Huh? So everybody's just a bunch of snitches now. Everybody's just telling on each other. They tell on themselves by posting stuff on social media anyways. It's just, you guys really need to understand that you're not awake. You're sleeping more than ever. You need to stop using the term, because just using that's a government term. Woke. Stop saying it. All you know is your one-sided piece of information. And most of you guys are getting your information from websites, news sites. A lot of people send me a news article. I'm like, what? Just read a whole book, a 500-page book on this topic, and you're sending me a 5 paragraph news article wrote by some, who knows if it's even wrote by anybody. You know your news is created by AI today, don't you? Now you don't understand that. And that's probably a conspiracy to you too. It's probably a conspiracy to you. You probably don't believe in any of that. You just believe in Mars and Jupiter and whatever's told to you. That's all you believe. But you can go look it up. You can do the same thing. You can go find actual, and I'll tell you a good way, a good indication on to find out what's going to be in the future, what's going to shape the future. Look at patents. Study future patents. What companies are patents and what rich people and they are investing and putting their money into and what technologies and things, and that'll tell you where the world is going. But you don't do that. You want to argue with people who actually read real literature. They read government documents. I mean, a lot of the stuff that we talk about in the truth community, we read from government documents. We get from their own words, and then people want to say, "Oh, it's a conspiracy." A conspiracy is a government term. Stop saying it. That's just gaslighting people. And that's another thing. I understand that the whole indoctrination system and this whole media system and your everyday life is nothing but manipulative. That's how you're being programmed and that's how you're being taught. You just manipulate people. That's all everybody does every day. They try to make some emotional attack on them. You know, somebody who's not wearing a mask. Oh, you don't care about other people. How do you know what I care or what I don't care about? You don't. It's physically impossible for you as a human being to even have those capabilities that you think that you know other people's motives. You don't. So stop doing it because it's very unintelligent. So don't act like you're smart when you're really acting like you're dumb. That's another thing. Dumbing yourself down, it doesn't make you look intelligent. And that's what's going on. You know, that's not a fact to say to somebody. That's just manipulation, trying to make them feel bad about what they're doing. You don't have that right. You know, that's being a bully. That's the kind of that's the kind of talk that you don't want to happen on Facebook and Twitter, but only about certain topics. GAY, uh, anti-government topics. You know, only certain things are allowed to be spoken of. So, do you think that your speech is going to be protected? No. They're going to take away one side, and then they're going to take away yours, and then we're all going to be silenced. And you're going to be okay with it. A lot of people probably will be okay with it. But I need you to understand that this is what's going on. This is the point of Trump's era. This is the point of QAnon and 4chan, 8chan. I mean, just look at the censorship that's taken place. Most people don't realize how much the internet has changed since 2010. I can't find most of the stuff that I used to be able to look up 10 years ago. It would take hours, days. I'd have to go through thousands and thousands of articles. So it's hard to even tell people to go look things up anymore. You have to, really know how to look for it, and you have to already kind of be informed about it to even know how to search for it. Things have definitely changed. To the Obama regime, there was definitely a retraining period, a reprogramming period. Things have definitely changed, you know. And if you think about it, you think Donald Trump's not part of the system, but what has he exposed to you? Fake news? Yeah, that is true, but it's all fake news. CNN is no different than Fox News. That it's all fake news. Okay, so now they got you thinking that anything that guy said that was true is a lie. It's tied to the stupid old orange man. You don't see how this works? That's how it works. That's what you allowed them to do. by not being a free thinker and not critically thinking and making your own decisions on what you're being presented. This is simple art of war tactics. So don't say it's a conspiracy. Don't say that, oh, it could never happen. It would never be. This is art of war. Of course, you're going to control both sides. You want to control both narratives. That's what you do if you're in a position of power, if you're on top. Come on now, people. Come on. You know, and this capital thing. I don't even pay attention to it because I don't want to. But if you really think that they're just going to let anybody in there, you really need to question your 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 IQ. You really do. You know. I get a lot of comments. I wish I could put them up on the screen, but I would have to. You know, I want to keep people anonymous and stuff like that. So that would be too much work to do that. So I'm just gonna read some comments that just going through my social media page. You know, why isn't anyone being arrested? If it was black people, they would have been had this blank shut down. This is a disgrace. Why do you want anyone arrested? Period. Such a weird mindset. But because they're white, so you want them arrested because they're white. Okay? I don't want people arrested because they're black. I don't want anybody to be caught up in that system. Hypothetically, so don't even say black people were doing the same thing. Replace that with Mexicans or no Arabics. Hold on, wait. No, people of Asian descent. Hell no. Native Americans because well, this they land. Doing this BS, they all would have never made it in. So it's not about oh, I'm sorry. Lost my spot. So it's not about throwing the race card. We all know damn well it's privilege. What are you talking about? You think Native Americans was the only descent that was here? It's not their land. I mean, that you don't even understand. You don't even have a real sense of history. Both sides that you've learned are lies. You don't even know enough about the Native American history to be able to make that discernment. It's anti-white. As long as it's anti-white, it's right. Think of you think, and that doesn't make it true. The opposition isn't true. That's a lie as well. That's a lie as well. This is what they want you to think. They want you to think it's some kind of racial thing, so you we can have our rights taken away. That's all it is. But you just shut down the president of the United States on Twitter, but you're allowed to get on here as an individual, and you're allowed to have your and say what you want to say. Oh, you think that's going to continue? No. So you're advocating for your own demise. It's it's just crazy. Here's another one. We riot because we are dying for no good reason. Y'all are throwing a fit because you lost. We are not the same. More manipulation. That's all it is. Bunch of manipulation. 76 likes in an hour. Dumb comment. Just manipulation. You know what I mean? Just both sides are stupid. Both sides are wrong. It's getting frustrating because it's getting so bad. Let's see. This will piss some people off, but I don't care. We definitely saw white privilege on full display today. There can be no argument. I mean, what was supposed to happen? Oh, you wanted violence on these people, right? You wanted to see them to be shot. You wanted to see them have tear gas. You wanted violence to be brought onto these people. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Through the whole pandemic, I watched BLM and I watched that whole thing for months go on. I didn't want anybody to. I didn't want. Not one time did I think, oh man, they should send in the military and just start shooting people up. They should just start gassing people. It's crazy. It's sad that people think this way. There can be no argument, according to this guy. So whatever he says is solid. That's it. I have no idea. It just they are literally climbing on the Capitol building. Seriously, storming the Capitol. They are busting through the barricades because they can. Okay, I just don't understand the differences here, and I don't understand why this is what's most important to you. Okay, this is very juvenile. This is very elementary level thinking. But the problem is, the people that saying these things are actually thinking that they're being smart. We aren't. Why aren't we gassing the protesters in D.C.? Does it have to do with their skin color or is it their cause? Either way, gas them. We wanted to gas women and children in the streets. Gas these men who have breached the security of our federal buildings. You want to see violence. You want to see. I mean, it's crazy just because somebody doesn't support what you support. Wow, sad, sad. And you think I want to listen to what your opinion is, and I want to listen to what you want when you think like that? So barbaric. What a barbaric way to think. You know, it's all about the language. Oh, are they calling them thugs like they were calling us thugs? Oh my gosh, we're 40 years old. We're talking about being called thugs. Ain't none of that going to change the country. It's not going to change our lives. Let's grow up. Let's get along here, and let's move on. Let's stop with kindergarten class. I'm just over it. I'm just over it. You know, these people are terrorists and traitors. What they did was most definitely not peaceful protests, but they're white, so I don't understand. I don't understand. Didn't BLM and Antifa and whoever the heck it is protest all dang summer long? I don't get it. I mean, I don't understand. This went on for what, 8 hours? It just blows my mind. The debate is pointless because it's not the problem. You know, go get a job. I'm sick of paying taxes for you to go protest. I mean, so both sides are just gonna sit here and go back and forth like they're in grade school with little stupid comments and they're offended by stupid little things. It's like none of this is progressive. It's not doing anything. It's not doing anything. Everybody just really needs to chill out and relax. You're being played. You're having your rights taken away from you. You're gonna have your internet taken away from you. Think about it. Just think about it. Here we go. Twitter permanently bans Donald Trump from its platform, citing risk of further incitement of violence. All right, so if you can ban the president of the United States of America, you can ban anybody you want. And here we go, everybody cheering it on. Yeah, shouldn't be allowed to say what you want. You know, just saying uh, confrontational things is inciting violence now. That's it. You could be listed as a terrorist just by saying certain things. This has been in the cards since 9/11, the Patriot Act. You know, they've been trying to find a way to get everybody on board to call Christians, white men, domestic terrorists. The goal is to call everybody terrorists. That's the end goal. Is to get rid of anybody who is going against their program. Anybody who doesn't want to go along with the new world order's agenda. And that makes me a terrorist just by saying that. Just by me believing in God makes me a terrorist. In their own words. So this was from El Paso. Um, let's listen to what they have to say here. You know, the language is key because this is what they're trying to get across here. You know, of course, down here we have the devil's in the details on this one. Oh yeah, because you guys work for the devil. So let's go ahead and listen to what's going to be said here.
Suspect in Texas, and NBC's justice correspondent Pete Williams is tracking those for us. Pete, good morning.
Well, first of all, the website's founder says he started it as a place for no-holds-bar free expression.
But now free speech.
It has become a platform for mass shooters. But this is at least the third time that gunmen appeared to take their inspiration from that website called 8chan. In the essay that investigators say Patrick Crusius posted online before the shooting in El Paso, he praised the shooting.
It's all about the language. Posted them online. Went and committed a terrorist attack. You see how? Did you see what's attack here? The internet. You just got to pay attention. You just have to pay attention.
From that website called 8chan. In the essay that investigators say Patrick Crusius posted online before the shooting in El Paso, he praised the shooting attack on mosques in New Zealand that killed 51 people, and so did the gunman who attacked a synagogue last April in Southern California. Many of these websites share a common view that immigration is weakening the U.S. and there's a strong element of racism too. And now the service that
immigration and racism. Of course. Of course. It's the same thing over and over and over and over. You have to be constantly told the same thing over and over and over and over because you're being lied to. You're being manipulated. That's why it has to be repeated over and over and over. If you think these 5 issues that they talk about for 30, 40 years, as long as I've been alive, are the only issues that are going on in this world, I feel bad for you. They're not even the main issues. They're the sidecar issues.
That hosts that site says it will no longer do that. It says 8chan has repeatedly proven itself to be, quote, a cesspool of hate with discussions that glorify shooting massacres. And one other thing here, the FBI says it remains concerned that domestic violent extremists could become inspired by these recent attacks and previous ones to engage in similar acts of violence, so it asks for more vigilance from the public, Savannah.
You see what I'm saying, though? But it's okay for Hollywood to pump out a shoot-'em-up movie every day, and a serial killer, a docu-series, and you know, it's quite okay. All that programming's fine. That programming does nothing to people. It's okay for your kids to sit in their rooms all day on their phones and sit around and play shoot-'em-up video games because that has no effect, right? Right? It's just these websites that are anti-government, that are, tied to racism and all this bullshit they want to perpetuate all the time. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, man. So that's what it's about. It's about shutting down the internet and the free speech. That's what we're up against. So we go through a little Google search here of QAnon. Family Trump supporter who died followed QAnon conspiracy. Of course. Of course. Twitter bans Michael Flynn, Sidney Powell, and QAnon account purge. Of course. I've been telling people for the last couple years that QAnon is being used to take away the internet. So you move over to the internet too on 5G, 6G, whatever it's going to be. Yeah, 6G. You might want to do a little research. I know that when you say that word, people freak out. But this is what it's about. It's about banning your internet. It's about taking away the internet from you. Horned shirtless man at the Capitol demonstration identified. This is just such a Capitol riots. Who broke in the building? It's just so dumb. You know what I mean? It's just dumb. It's just all become, extremely dumbed down to me. It's dumb. So here we go. What happened at the Capitol was domestic terrorism, lawmakers and experts say. So let's just listen to this, see what they have to say here.
We will not let them silence your voices. We're not going to let it happen.
Of course, they have Trump's voice in the background.
Good luck tonight. I share your conviction that President Trump should remain president. I share that conviction.
Yes.
The law matters with
I
us.
share that conviction. But the law matters.
Oh, meanwhile, up on the steps of the backside of the Capitol, we're seeing protesters overcome the police. The police are now running back into the Capitol building. We have cheers from the protesters that are watching behind the scenes. This is incredible.
You know, you've seen the police just back up. They didn't really overcome him. I mean, and then this guy has a police shield, and that's what he's using to bust out the windows with. That's kind of funny. All right, I mean, I don't really buy much of this theater anymore. You know, I'm sure it was provocateurs. Oh, you don't think provocateurs are real? I mean, it's crazy. I think everybody forgot about G20 summits and those protests. We'll get into those here in a little bit, and that'll end your racism. That'll end your why don't we bring tanks and shoot people with tear gas because they're white? No, we'll show you all white protests that were done in Pittsburgh, 2000 was that 2011? We'll show you when they rolled out all their fancy new machines and weapons and things that they're going to use on us here soon. That'll break it down. Did you guys forget about that?
We're in. Let's go.
I mean, what is the point? What's really the point? I mean, he was really trying there, wasn't he? Yeah. Oh, wait. Is he spraying tear gas? Oh.
We were just told that there has been tear gas in the rotunda, and we're being instructed to each of us get gas masks that are under our seats.
I wonder if their gas masks are different than the masks that they wear for the coronavirus. Are they special masks that they just had planned, prepared under their seats for them? Maybe that is protocol, I suppose. I don't really know. Seems kind of funny, you know, kind of goes along with the whole coronavirus mask thing. But I can guarantee you that mask didn't have any way for gas to get in it, because that would be the point, right? Very interesting. Kind of comical.
Tactical vehicles are pulling up to the Capitol.
There's always a few people that they allow to just kind of do whatever they want. It's always a few people that just have free range. It's not really the majority. Majority don't do. It's always just a handful, a group of people that come through. Those are the provocateurs. Those are the government agents that they send in. Art of war. Like I said, it's art of war tactics. I mean, it's not even a conspiracy. That's how you would control a protest and a riot. You go over and you create a little damage. So you try to control people to that one little area, the ones who are going to be the violent ones. You try to separate them. Do you understand? You're not going to just start opening up fire and just start creating straight pandemonium. I mean, goodness gracious, do you people use your minds at all? Military grade tear gas they have.
I want you all to know that I'm safe. This is such a sad day in America. We're sequestered in a room till we're safe. The protesters are still in the building. I just want to say, stay strong. And I don't know what to say about today, but this could never happen again.
This afternoon, I announced a citywide curfew for the District of Columbia.
Oh, now we get a curfew.
At 6 p.m. this evening, going until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. The behavior that we are witnessing is shameful, unpatriotic, and above all, it is unlawful. Anyone who has engaged in these activities, continues to engage in these activities, will be held accountable. There will be law and order, and this behavior will not be tolerated.
But just remember this, you're stronger.
That's enough of that. I mean, I don't really want to get into that too much. So, but really what it's all about is calling anybody that assembles a group of people a domestic terrorist. And look who's been tied to Donald Trump. Conservative, Christian, white men. And that's what it's about, to bring this country down. That's what they want to do. So here's a website here. I don't know if you guys remember these, but these were sent out by the FBI. I was looking for the date. I can't remember if this was during Bush's administration or if it was during Obama's administration. I couldn't remember exactly. But this is, I wanted to say it was after the Patriot Act and stuff, but they send them out to, the FBI, and it would send them out to the state highway patrolmen, and it would be a pamphlet on who to look for, who's a domestic terrorist. You could be on this list, so let's listen to this. Right-wing extremists, defenders of the U.S. Constitution against federal government and the UN, super patriots. Of course the UN, because they're the ones that are controlling this whole operation. America is really America, which is just a company of an entity. Of course, we use that word entity of the UN. This is the UN Agenda 2021, UN Agenda 2030, the Great Reset. So basically what this is saying right here, anybody that, if you're in America and you bring up the Constitution, you are a domestic terrorist. So this is scary, guys. This is scary where we're heading, because so if a police officer, brings up constitutional rights, does that make him a domestic terrorist? No. So if a police officer pulls me over and I bring up my constitutional rights, does that make me a domestic terrorist? Yes, it does. So you no longer can flex your constitutional rights. Groups of individuals engaged in paramilitary training. Common law movement proponents. Fictitious license plates makes you a domestic terrorist. No license plates. Fictitious driver's license. No driver's license. Refuse to identify themselves. So if you don't want to identify yourself, which is your constitutional right, you are a domestic terrorist. Request authority for stop. Make numerous references to the U.S. Constitution. Claim driving as a right and not a privilege. Attempt to police the police. And you see, they use this certain language because in all the videos that they show people getting pulled over, this is the kind of language that they would use. So those are controlled opposition videos as well. They want you to use that language. They want the cops to hear this language. How everybody's just being programmed. Single issue terrorist. Targeting of law enforcement and emergency personnel. Wouldn't that be what I witnessed all last summer? Yeah, it is. So, everybody's on this list. Animal rights. Eco-terrorism. Violent anti-abortion extremism. So if you're against abortion, you're a domestic terrorist. Jesus is a domestic terrorist. Unbelievable. And this is what I'm saying, man. They're trying to label everybody they can as a terrorist to get rid of anybody that opposes their idea and their agenda. Urban riot agitators. Cyber penetration. Non-aligned terrorist. Doomsday cult type group. Insurgents, rebels. Lone individuals. Weapons of mass destruction. Nuclear, chemical, biological. I guess if you believe in those kind of weapons taking over, I guess that's what they're saying there. Political motivation is usually Marxist Leninist philosophy. I've never read neither one of them, so I'm like I said, it's just pretty wild, you know, to see this to come full effect. But this is what it's about: labeling you as a terrorist, shutting down the internet. And Trump has done this role. He's played this role very well. So now I'm going to show you how Donald Trump fits into this whole shutting down the internet. You know, before Donald Trump was even inaugurated to be president, he was against the internet. They always tell you, you know, what their goals are, and this is Donald Trump's goal, was to bring down the internet, and we're getting there. And a lot of people are cheering it on, but you know they're not going to like it when it gets to the point of where it's going to go. So here we go. You know, they turn it into a joke. That's what they do. Okay. Donald Trump thinks he can call Bill Gates to close up the internet. December 7th, 2015. And of course, you know, Bill Gates, Donald Trump. It's always the same key players. So we can listen to this here on Twitter. Let's see what he has to say.
People because of the internet, and we have to do something. We have to go see Bill Gates and a lot of different people that really understand what's happening. We have to talk to them, maybe in certain areas, closing that internet up in some way. Somebody will say, oh, freedom of speech, freedom of speech. These are foolish people. We have a lot of foolish people. We have a lot of foolish people. We're losing a lot of people because of the internet, and we have to do something. We have to go see Bill Gates and a lot of different people that really understand what's happening. We have to talk to them, maybe in certain areas, closing that internet up in some way. Somebody will say, oh, freedom of speech, freedom of speech. These are foolish people.
You see what I'm saying? Trump's telling you right out of his mouth that he fully supports shutting down the internet. I mean, he even brings up free speech. You know, and they try to make him look dumb all the time, and that's the whole role. Look, down here, it's unclear if Trump was suggesting the U.S. government censors certain parts of the web, or if he lacks a basic understanding of how the internet works. Obviously, he wants to censor the web and free speech. That's what he said. Let's not play here. So there it is. So that's what this is all about. QAnon, that's what it's all about. You know, all the stupid things we have seen. You know, the sex trafficking with Wayfair. I mean, everything's just been so dumb. And people go for it. They do. You know, here's the internet too. You know, it's been around since 1997. I know a lot of people aren't really aware of it, but yes, we are operating on the internet too. Of course, this, you know, headquarters are located in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and offices in Washington, D.C., of course. So, you know, the internet's going to become private. You're going to have to pay for everything, like app-based, like it is now. All prices are going to go up. It's going to be, you know, if you want to run a business on there, you're going to have to pay certain fees just to use the internet. Just to, you know, everything you're going to do, you're going to have to pay for it. Will no longer be freedom of speech. You won't be able to, you know, get websites that you want to get. It'll all be controlled basically like China. So this is, you know, comical. This was on the 8th. Donald Trump has joined Parler, according to Fox News' Sean Hannity. You know, So why would they put that article out, that morning? Why would they put that article out that morning? Let's see. Because later that day, Google suspends the free speech app, Parler. So that's why they did that. Trump joined it. Oh, now we can shut it down. So do you see how this works? If you don't see how this works by now, I don't know what else to tell you. I know it's difficult to hear these type of things because you've been so emotionally involved and invested in your candidates and in your parties, and that's bad. You shouldn't even be emotionally involved. You shouldn't pick one side, because once you do, you only see one thing. You only see one side, and that's it. So it's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. This is what it's about. The Capitol rioters put themselves all over social media. Now the FBI is watching how law enforcement and the internet detectives are identifying the Capitol rioters. They're just letting you know. You have your contact tracing in place for COVID, your face recognition. The technology's there. Now they just need the excuse. Now they just need the excuse to use it. It's all there. Donald Trump played into it. QAnon played into it. These are all. This is perfect. The perfect storm. I mean, look at this. It's just so idiotic. The Horn Man is known as Jake. I don't know. Of Arizona, a QAnon supporter and the right-wing rally fixture whose costume made him easily recognizable. Richard Beagle Barnett of Arkansas was quickly identified by his local news station as the man in Pelosi's office. He later bragged to the New York Times that his time inside Pelosi's office included scratching his balls and taking an envelope for which he said he paid a quarter. You see how dumb? Just how dumb? Because they're just making fun of you. They're just making fun of you. It's so dumb. None of this is even real. It's dumb. It's dumb. This is all. It's just. I don't know. Don't even know where to begin. I just feel bad for people how they get caught up into this. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to revisit the G20 riots in Pittsburgh. They were in 2009. Excuse me, I think I said 2011 earlier. So let's go ahead and just take a look at this footage. This stuff has already been rolled out, and it's just amazing to see this. These are a lot of college kids then, and it's like the difference from 2009 and 2020, what they were rioting and protesting for. They were actually, they were protesting the police state. That's what this was all about. So to end this rhetoric about that white people have white privilege and they don't get tear gas and get stormed by troops in the military, we're going to go ahead and just put an end to that right here. We haven't seen any of this technology being used yet in these protests, which is interesting because this was the first time that they rolled all this stuff out.
By order of the City of Pittsburgh Chief of Police, I hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly. I order all those assembled to immediately disperse.
These were more violent than the Capitol Hill, and in my opinion, probably even the BML protests through the summer. Things were pretty tense.
Actually, not.
I'm speechless. I am. I got the grenade. Grenade. This is the grenade that they're throwing at us. It says, what is it? 6240 AOC aerosol grenade.
We weren't riding. We were sitting there in the William Pitt Union lawn. Our own union. That's where they take us down. Our own union. Just sitting there. Doing nothing wrong.
The point is we're all treated the same. We're being conquered by division. They're playing both sides. They're playing all of us, the whole world. That makes that guy a domestic terrorist.
Hey, what's your name, dude? What's your name? Get back! Hey, dude, shout out your name. What's your name? Get back! Get back! Get back!
The use of riot control agents and/or less lethal munitions, which could cause risk of injury to those who remain. No matter what your purpose is, you must leave. If you do not disperse, you may be arrested and/or subject to other police action. Munitions, which could cause risk of injury to those who remain.
And the G20 riots, they went on all over the world. It's just interesting to see the difference of where we were then and where we're at now.
On top of that, they're macing the people on top of Forbes. Where the fuck are we supposed to go?
Oh, there's that white privilege. There it is. There it is. There it went. The point is there's no difference. We're being manipulated to think that there is, and it's sad that so many people fall victim to their mind control.
Could you explain what's happening? Why we have to disperse?
This is when we first realized that they were just snatching individuals off the streets. Do you guys remember that? And I don't know if a lot of people remember this, especially the youth. They're probably not informed on this. You gotta have to really know about it to look it up. The point is that QAnon, Donald Trump, is part of the establishment. Biden, Trump, they're the same. There is no difference. The left-right paradigm does not exist, and it's being used to take away our rights, take away our Constitution, destroy our democracy, erode our monetary system. And we're fighting out here about skin tones and words, while the real issues are passing us by every day. And it's time, as we, as people of the world, as Americans, that we come together and you take time to get to know somebody in a who has different opposing views of you, different opposing religions, as you, different skin tone as you, and actually get to know people like that so you can understand that we are all the same and we all do matter. It's time for us to realize that we're being played. We need to put our egos down and forget about Republican, forget about Democrat, forget about white, forget about black. It's time that we come together and we take this land back. Not the Native Americans' land, our land. The people who habitat here. That's what I mean. That's our land. We work hard, pay our taxes, all creeds, all races, all genders. It's time. We need to pray to Yahshua Jesus that people can see what God's trying to reveal to us here. He's trying to reveal to you that there is no separation and there is no difference between the ruling class. There is no Republican and Democrat. It's us, the people. You know, one race. Hebrews. If you're an extension of Adam, you're a Hebrew. You're a human. One race. Doesn't matter if somebody has opposing views, different opinions of you. We show love. We show compassion. We're being programmed to hate while thinking it's for love and progress. There is no progress in any kind of hate. There never will be progress in hate. It's time for us to make a change together and realize that, okay, maybe what we have been told is a lie. Maybe what you have been following and investing all your time in is a lie. And I know that's hard to go through that and experience that. I did that 15, 16 years ago now. I don't watch cable. I don't watch mainstream news. I don't even really read news articles. They make it hard for me to miss what's going on because I'm, with your phones, you're so attached that, it's the message is everywhere. But it's just laughable at this point. It doesn't emotionally control me to hate somebody, to dislike somebody, to be mad. We're all being played. And we're all in this together. Donald Trump is not going to save you. QAnon is not going to save you. QAnon and Donald Trump have successfully helped bring down the internet. Let's see where they go with this. It's 2021. It just started. It's already. Everything's so accelerated. We're under COVID. Now we're not even going to be able to, communicate on the internet anymore. They already have us, pretty much don't want us in groups with our own families and with our church people. Can't see what's going on here. You need to wake up. You need to wake up. I love everyone and God bless everybody. And I just made this video because I think it's important for people to know that we're greatly losing. We are greatly losing. If you want to know more information, look into the Great Reset. Look into Agenda 2021. Look into Agenda 2030. Sustainability Development from the UN. Look into it. All right, everybody. God bless y'all, and have a good day.